Welcome back to Team Talks. Manchester United go to Newcastle in Sunday's late kick-off with Erik Ten Hag's team desperate to avoid a third Premier League game in a row without scoring a goal. Let's get the thoughts of the United boss then after we hear from Eddie Howe.
It's a massive month, as you say. I think whenever you have an intense period of games, you know those results are going to define really what we do this season. The last two results have put us in a really strong position, and also I think just lifted confidence levels and morale within the squad. So this is going to be a big week to come. We have Manchester United first. We have to just focus on that alone and learn our lessons from the cup final defeat and analyse that game, which we have, and try and improve.
As every game, we want to dictate, control the game, but we play against a good opponent. We are aware of that. They have a great season. They have, with their manager, with their way of play, that is really a team that's hard to beat. But we are looking forward for the challenge. And as we had already many challenges this season, and we have shown so the evidence that we can beat them.
It's a repeat of the League Cup final where Manchester United won their first trophy under Erik Ten Hag just around a month ago. Do you expect the same result, Glenn?
I'm not looking forward to this game, Jules.
No?
I'm not going to lie, no, I don't think there'll be many goals in it. Manchester United have been a bit goal shy, Newcastle have been goal shy. I expect that Manchester United will just do enough, but I expect it to be low scoring.
What do you think, Darren?
I think Glenn might be right. You know, I think it might be like United just do enough. The interesting thing will be the lack of and the presence of two midfielders. No Casemiro, but Grammarish is there. Newcastle's so much stronger when Grammarish plays. He's so pivotal. When he doesn't play, they don't win. When he does, he makes things tick. The class of Casemiro not being available for a game like this that they need to win, that could be a huge miss for them. Not just because of what he does for the defensively, but for the way he drives forward, his commitment, his leadership. I think without him, it could be tighter. If it were a neutral venue, Wembley, obviously I'd give it to United, but it's at Newcastle's house, and they're so much better defensively than even Manchester United are.
Do they break Manchester United down, though?
It's a good question, and it's a good point. It's why I give United the edge, because I think...
Because Rashford's had 10 days.
Well, that's another thing, is whether Rashford is fit in time, because he, of course, pulled out of the international squad with England because he picked up an injury. He has been back in training, but it's not been confirmed whether he'll definitely be fit enough to start the game on Sunday. He's fortunate he obviously has the extra day tomorrow to train again.
I mean, it might just be that he didn't go with England as a precaution and that he is fit.
A precaution for Manchester United season.
I'm sure United fans were happy about it.
You're a striker, you told me.
Well, I mean, it's classic Sir Alex Ferguson out of the playbook, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's played a lot of football, he's scored a lot of goals. I'm sure I don't think anyone's not nursing injuries at this stage of the season, and he's been very injury prone in previous campaigns, so I expect it has been a bit of protection, both for his body, but also for Manchester United's season.
I mean, I think I expect him to play. Cards on the table, I expect him to play. I expect him to be the difference. And I think it was precautionary. He wants to look after himself. We've got the quality in the England team to be able to... I don't want to be disrespectful to the teams we've played, but we do have that quality. But as you say, he has had a poor injury record. He does now, and he's mature enough to look after his own body and to know his own body as well. And in that period where he first started scoring goals just after the World Cup, and he gave a really good interview where he talked about the mistake he'd made previously in terms of looking after himself, and now he knows how to do that. So I expect him to come back, I expect him to hit the ground running, and I expect United to have the edge.
He's having his most prolific season at Manchester United, the amount of goals he's scoring. And with the injuries and the suspensions, as Darren's already pointed out, no Casemiro in the team, Garnacho out injured for a substantial amount of time, possibly till almost the end of the season. It's so important that they have him fit, isn't it, Glenn? Because where do the goals come from if they don't have him?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I feel as though Ten Hag sat him down at the start of the season and said, you're my number one, you're the one that I want to take Manchester United forward, and he just seems to be thriving in that seat, in that hot seat. Obviously, there's been Ronaldo, many others before him, but this season the penny just seems to have dropped. He went away, got himself fit in the summer, and he just looks like a different beast. Like physically, he's just got that assuredness. Even when he jogs, he doesn't even have to be on the ball. He just looks like he's ready for anything that comes his way. And if Manchester United are going to get anything at St James's Park, they need him at it.
As a goal scorer, is it all about confidence when you go on those runs?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's crazy to think, but when you score, you just almost expect to score, and when that chance falls, you don't rush at it, you don't snatch at it, which you can tend to do sometimes when you're maybe a bit dry of goals. So I mean, that the run that he's been on is just all confidence and belief, and I think you can see that in his stature.
When it comes to Newcastle, Darren, they went on this run, didn't they, where they were struggling to pick up consistent wins, and that was around the time where they lost to Manchester United in the League Cup final at Wembley. In the last two, though, they've won back-to-back matches. So actually, although we've had the international break, do they come into this with a bit of confidence, with Isak scoring as well?
Absolutely, yeah. Before those two wins, they'd previously won on January the 15th, and they would really start to slip away from the top six, let alone the top four. I still think, Anthony Gordon's a promising player, but I just wonder if they could have gone with a bit more experience in January. That could have won them the League Cup, which would have been fantastic for their confidence and for the project that they're trying to build there. And certainly for this stage of the season, where you do need goals, you do need somebody who can decide tight games when the pressure's on. I just wonder if they could have gone with a bit of experience. I still do give them the edge. They'll be confident coming into this off the back of those two wins, whereas, as you say, Man United, they've got those anxieties about Casemiro, Rashford, and their form, which is a little bit wavy. But I still give United the edge here. Manchester United, not Newcastle.
St James's Park, as an away player, though, Glenn, must be one of the toughest places to go.
Do you know what? It was somewhere that I really enjoyed going, but I never got any joy there. And I swallowed my tongue there and got knocked out. So not a great venue, but I always enjoyed going.
Clearly, you've recovered. Spoiler alert. But remind us, what happened?
Oh, it was so innocuous. I went up for a header. I think it was Fernandes at the time. He just caught me with a slight blow to the temple, and the next thing I woke up in the Royal Infirmary in Newcastle, fully kitted up in my shin pads. I think everyone thought I was on a stag do. I was walking around asking what the score was, and it was only 3:15.
No. Oh my goodness. Wow. About that.
Oh, but you better, sorry, you raised that there, aren't you?
No. I think I actually remember it. I think I do remember that game. In terms of this fixture then, how pivotal will it be in terms of the two sides and finishing in Champions League places? There's a lot of games to play, but...
Glenn said a second ago, earlier in the first part, there's such a long way to go. I mean, it's a big match and there are crucial points at stake. But, I mean, that race for the top four is a massive game of snakes and ladders. Very similar, actually, to the race fight against relegation. So it'll be important. But I think as far as Newcastle are concerned, they can recover if they lose here.
Well, it's also a bit of a fight for Europa League places and potentially...
Position maintenant. Alors, que se passe-t-il? Le buteur Hakim Ziyech est resté au sol.